to discuss Alvin ISD developing a plan to be designated as a district of innovation.
So board, you can see on the flash sheet there that Chapter 12 of the Texas Education Code permits a school district to develop a district of innovation plan that allows them to be exempt from various state requirements such as school start date, student attendance rules, minimum minutes of instructions, and other things. Mr. Shaw will now lead us through a short presentation that he's put together that we've talked to a couple of other groups about, and so the DEIC being one of those, and he has much more information than I do.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Gilcrease, member of the community, and staff. I had the privilege this evening of providing information of Alvin ISD possibly becoming a district of innovation and allow for public comment through this public hearing. The District of Innovation concept passed by the 84th legislative session in House Bill 1842 gives traditional independent school districts most of the flexibilities available to Texas open enrollment charter schools. As Dr. Gilcrease spoke earlier, to access these flexibilities, the school district must adopt an innovation plan as set forth in the Texas Educational Code, Chapter 12A. What district is eligible? Well, the district has to have their most recent academic performance rating of Met Standard. What can a district of innovation do? Potential benefits of becoming a district of innovation include more local control. Districts decide which flexibilities best suit their local needs. It also allows for more customization. Districts can create an innovation plan for a level of school, grade level, or a single campus, as well as the district. It also allows for some autonomy. Districts must submit a district innovation plan to the Commissioner of Education, but his approval is not required. Did list some items up here in which a district may pursue for some specific innovations, which include school calendar, curriculum, instruction, budgeting, parent or community involvement, and also some governance. It also allows for some flexibility. Districts will have the flexibility to implement practices similar to charter schools, including exemptions from mandates such as the 90 attendance rule, school start date, class size ratios, site-based decision-making processes, teacher certification, and teacher appraisal requirements. These are just some of the ones that are afforded. That doesn't necessarily mean that we would pursue any or all of these. Now, this one is kind of hard to read, but state law also requires a district to develop a local innovation plan before the district can be designated a district of innovation. A local innovation plan must provide for a comprehensive educational program for the district, which may include innovations in the following areas: innovation, curriculum, and instructional methods, provisions regarding community participation, campus governance, and parental involvement, modifications to the school day or year, provisions regarding the district budget and substantial program funding, accountability and assessment measures that exceed the requirements of any state or federal law, and then any other innovations prescribed by the Board of Trustees. Along with that plan, the plan of innovation must also identify the educational codes that inhibits the goals of the plan and from which the district should be exempted from. There are some certain steps that a district must go through in order to become a district of innovation. The first step is to the board to approve a resolution, which the board did back on December 13th, 2016. Second step is to provide a public hearing, which we are doing tonight. If the board wishes to go forward, we are asking that they appoint an innovation plan committee. After that committee is named, we have to actually develop the plan, then put that plan up for public review for 30 days. Then the District of Innovation Committee must hold a public hearing as well, and then they must vote by a majority to adopt that plan. Then once that plan is adopted by that committee, we do have to come to the board, and there has to be a 2/3 vote. And then after or if the board approves it, then we have to notify the plan to the commissioner and then publish that. And then also the very last step would be an annual review through the District Innovation Committee. This plan may be amended, rescinded, or renewed at any time, as long as it is approved by a majority vote of the committee and a 2/3 majority vote of the Board of Trustees. Just want to make sure, as we go through this process, to provide some assurance to the board that if you do decide to proceed with the process of Alvin ISD becoming a district of innovation, that our plan will not contain any items that would have negative consequences to our students, to our staff, or to our community. I've also provided you with a tentative timeline. If we do proceed with the District of Innovation Plan, and it does start and complete by April 2017.
Do you have
That
any
is really the extent of the presentation. If there's any questions at this time?
Go ahead.
Going back to what you said, this can be amended or taken out. You said by the committee and the board, or
Both steps have to be fulfilled.
So,
So we would go through the same, almost the same exact process here. We would have to go back to the District of Innovation Committee. They would have to amend, rescind, make adjustments to the plan, and they have to approve it, and then we would have to come to the board again for your approval as well. These plans do go into effect for up to 5 years.
Go ahead, Julie.
When the committees meet, do they meet just concerning one item? So in other words, would it just be something concerning the calendar only, and then their recommendation, or are they coming up with the comprehensive plan?
They will be coming up with a comprehensive plan. One of the school start date will be one of the ones that the committee will consider.
What other areas
Yeah.
will they be considering also?
So we're also looking at some certifications for CTE. It's really hard to fill those positions because of some of the state teaching requirements. So that is one that we will look at putting into the plan. What else did we?
Teacher appraisals?
The teacher appraisal system for teachers that we designate as a master teacher, putting them up to possible a 3-year cycle of having to be evaluated, which would free up a lot of time for our administrators and to really be able to focus on those beginning and new teachers.
and who will the committee be apprised of?
So our recommendation is that we name our District Education Improvement Committee. It's representatives from entirety of the district campus-wide, and then also community and business members. They're already established. They sit and meet at a regular time. There's about 60 members on that committee presently.
I believe that's an action item after this public hearing
Yeah.
that we're asking you to appoint.
Okay, worst case scenario, we put this plan into effect. The committee says, hey, after a year in it, committee says, we want to change this. They make the changes, they bring it to the board, and the board says, no, we're not gonna make that change. Okay, so then we stay on the same plan.
Correct.
Or vice versa, if the board says, hey, we want to change this, and the committee says, no, we don't want to change anything. So then nothing changes, right?
Yes, I mean, technically, under the legalities of the law, that's how it works.
So it has to be both the committee and the board agreeing on whatever.
Correct.
Is there opportunity from feedback from either the DEIC or the trustees in order to come up with a happy medium?
I think that, if it did come to an impasse of some kind, that we would obviously work with the committee and the community members that represented there to come up with a plan that the board would be acceptable of as well.
So once they present the plan, we have to approve all or nothing, the whole plan or none of the plan?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Regan, did you have questions?
I did, but Earl beat me
Yeah.
to the punch. I was just curious as to how the committee would be appointed and who would be serving on that committee. And then how long will their recommendation be published before we have to vote? Or is there enough time allotted should the public and taxpayers want to comment?
Yes, there's that 30-day
30
public
day.
review. And we'll post it.
And
And after that 30-day, as long as,
they actually have to have a public hearing as well at that
The
point.
DEIC does.
The
Okay.
DEIC will hold a same public hearing for
and then
comments.
at that public hearing, at the conclusion of that, we'll have a vote if we go forward with that plan or not. And
Okay.
we'll have the opportunity to bring it to y'all.
Were there questions down here?
Yeah, so they'll take into consideration public comment and concerns and possibly revise before it's
Absolutely.
brought up.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Are there any other districts of innovation around? Who are they?
Really, right now, our elbow districts, Clear Creek is currently a district of innovation. Friendswood ISD is currently going through the process. They should have all of these steps completed, I believe, in March. Pearland ISD is also just now going through the process like we are.
Dickinson?
Dickinson ISD, Fort Bend ISD, if you've looked at any of their calendar stuff, they've pulled they had put a calendar up for review, and they've taken it back down, and they've now started going through the District of Innovation plan as well, so that they can add that school start date as one of their plans, one of their items in their plan.
So I assume school start date is one of our big.
It
Big
was
reasons.
it was the catalyst for this venture.
So if we put up a calendar, we'll do that same thing as Fort Bend, we'll put up a calendar in February and then change it.
We plan on asking the DEIC to kind of create two calendars, one that would be adopted under a District of Innovation plan, the other one without it. We would put the first one up first,
Do you have to?
because we have, yeah, and then go from there. If for some reason the District of Innovation did not go through, then we would revert back to another calendar.
Okay.
And how long has Clear Creek had this instituted?
They started the process at the end of last year, and so they
So about a full
completed
year.
that, I want to say in September.
I'm just wondering if there had been any feedback, backlash or anything.
Are they
from-
actually doing the program, or they're in the process of?
No,
They're
they've
doing
already
it.
sent
They've
it
been-
for review to TEA.
Okay.
They've had some comments on it, about some of the stuff that they weren't allowed to do. But yes, they are now a district of innovation.
It's only been for this school. I mean, this is the first time it's ever been available.
Okay.
So
I'm just wondering if there's anyone we can look to learn from or as a guide or model or something.
there's been multiple districts that have already completed this process. Some of the things that the only feedback, negative feedback that we've seen across the state has been for those districts that are attempting to change, like Chapter 21 contract rights for teachers or teacher salary scales or something like that. There's been obviously pushback against those. Those districts that, and we don't plan on pursuing any of those type of changes in our District of Innovation plan.
Okay.
Matter of fact, if you read, just listen through the things we've talked about, they're all beneficial to teachers. You know, one of the things others we're gonna investigate is the 90% rule for students to gain attendance, which, you know, there's not necessarily a need for a child to, if they can master the class and they've had absences, especially due to illness or whatever, then there's no reason to make them come back and sit and make up unneeded hours. That will not excuse everyone. You know, if they're skipping class, then the provisions are in there and they're going to have to. The master teacher provision will be one of the things that we've sketched the plan to take to the DEIC so they can look at it. One of the things in the master teacher plan is that we're going to have master teachers that we kind of identify around the district, draw up what that definition is, so that we have a standard definition for every campus of what a master teacher looks like, and then they would be excused from annual evaluations unless there was a need for it. Let's see, the others, the attendance rule. So here's the other fun thing is that since this is in place, the agency does not provide waivers anymore. So there's no waivers for like half-day workshops or earlier late starts or those kind of things. Or any type of waiver for our pre-K. Our pre-K minutes don't add up to the exact amount because of the way our bus schedules have to run. So we've wavered all these years, and we're in the last year of that waiver. And so, if the 90% of the minutes rule is not taken care of in district innovation, we'll have to go back and readjust that on those campuses as well. So those are the kind of technical areas that we're looking at addressing.
Do y'all have any other questions before I open it up for public comment?
The only other thing I got, so, once this goes in, it's a 5-year plan, reviewed every year. To be changed, it has to be agreed upon by the board and the committee.
Yes, sir.
So I have a question about that. So if the board had a concern, is there a mechanism for us to approach the committee about it?
Absolutely, yeah. They have regularly scheduled meetings anyway throughout the year, so we'd add it to one of their agendas at that point and express that. I think that provision is more the other way. Does that make sense? In that the board, wants to come back and in the middle of DOI, start talking about teacher contracts and want to add that to the District of Innovation. I think the idea is it has to go back through the committee before it could be allowed.
Okay.
It's not it's designed for the other way instead of this way. Looking for instead of, they didn't want it to open up to be a punitive thing for people who perceive boards at a chance where they would become punitive against things instead of.
Okay.
Y'all good with questions? Okay, so we've had the board ask questions, and since this is a public hearing, is there anybody who wishes to make public comment? All right, then hearing none, at this point, the Board of Trustees is now closing the public portion of the hearing, and it is 7:20 PM.